you talked about your sort of modus operandi in terms of that. I mean, is there any other sort of nuggets of information that you can share with us in terms of obviously, making relevant to sort of businesses out there who are finding it hard maybe to compete with some of the bigger players out there? And it's all about competition at the moment. There's a lot of competition in different sectors.
So my business model is collaboration and cooperation.
Collaboration and cooperation.
Because I work through these two, this method, that I collaborate with people, I cooperate with them. That way, I share my overheads and I share my profit. And when I share my profit, I double my strength. And and also when you're exporting, the local knowledge is crucial. If I export into Pakistan, the complexity of custom and rules and the local commander will put me straight. So I could then get into the Pakistani market at a much
You need local players,
quickly,
local partners.
absolutely crucial, because they know the system. My job is to work through strategic partners, and they tell me what they need for their country, and I have to understand and I have to work accordingly.
So even at the size that you are, in terms of your organizations, it's all about partnerships with local.
In business, you are as good as yesterday's turnover. You just cannot live on your past glory. You have to be on the ball. You just cannot, because this is why business fail. Because when people become complacent, they think, "Oh, my business is."
They start resting on their laurels, as they say. They start taking it easy in terms of
You have to be one step ahead of the competition. And you talk about challenges, the difficulties. If everything was easy, then there'll be so many people doing business. So everything is difficult, but you have to be, the best among the rest. You have to give something more to your customer than the guy next door. And that's what we try to do, that we just want to make sure that, the customers get a good product, good service at a price that's right. And we maintain quality, because quality is very, very important, because excellence endures long after everything else is forgotten. People will never go to market shop and say, "Have you got cheapest toothpaste or shampoo?" They go by the brand, because the brand they know represent quality and trust. So we have to maintain that trust and quality if we are to stay in the market.
Dr. Salman, whenever I've seen you on TV or any of the sort of award shows, you talk about enterprise and innovation and so forth. Obviously, you were involved with London South Bank University as well. You've sort of you've endorsed them, you've supported them. I think you've sponsored, you've given them a donation as well, a very substantial donation. What's your thoughts in terms of obviously enterprise as a whole? I mean, we've covered some aspects of it in terms of people getting into business. Is this a good time? Is there opportunities?
I think you have to make the opportunity. You have to make your niche. You have to find your own future, because you can't just wait for other people to create.
You have to grasp it.
Yeah, you can't expect people to, things are desirable but not practical. It is desirable for me to see sunshine every day, but there's always sometimes raining most of the time. But we have to then work around the rain. So there are challenges. People are smart. We have to be smarter. So we have to, I always say that please sit down. Our brain is very versatile. We are blessed by Almighty. We've been given a lot of unique qualities, but sometimes we don't get to know ourselves. We don't sit down. We don't know ourselves, our strength. You'll be amazed when, people will be amazed when they discover how much potential they have, how much strength they have in them. But they just have to get that out and channel that in the right direction, and to build a future for themselves. And that's what I do in South Bank University, because it's not just the money. My story is also very important.
Very inspiring as well, yeah.
Yeah, because I started with nothing.
Yeah.
Because I had lost everything, and started life from a refugee camp. But then I never gave up, and I always look for opportunities. Opportunities are out there. For example, they say competition is tough. Competition has always been tough. It will always be tough. But you have to be better than the guy next to you.
Is it tougher now than what it was maybe 30 years ago?
It will always be tough, but at the same time, the young people, are more intelligent and more dynamic and more versatile because of the technology with the classes, with the television. They are not the same. My tool, I never seen a calculator in my life. Yes, and when I saw that was the biggest computer for me was my calculator. Look at it now. Yeah, in your smartphone is probably the biggest computer you had at that time. So mankind is on the move. Yeah, mankind is on the move. It will get, people are talking about space. Look at the amount of technology, innovation, the time-saving devices we have now. Can you live without phone today? You can't. Yes. Look at the comfort we have now, hot water, air conditioning, you name it. So I think people are also progressing as the world is progressing, and so that I should ignore it. Don't even worry about it. It's become difficult. They say when things get tough, tough gets going. So you just find a way, and to
Fantastic.
overcome.
I mean, technology. Obviously, we talked about technology. In terms of obviously your sector or your sector itself. How technology led is it? Is this is there a lot of technology involved? Are you a big investor in technology? Do you lead from? Does technology lead?
You see, technology is the best thing now. You have to use it. For example, we have emails. Instantly. You don't have to wait for 4 weeks or 1 week or 10 days for a letter to reach Africa. Instantly on email. Skype, we got video conferencing, we got performers. They can download price lists, they can go and see the product, they can understand the benefit of that product and the quality of that product. So there is so much information is now available instantly.
Yeah, CRMs, customer relationship management systems, software, and
Absolutely,
all the rest of it.
absolutely. We can.
I want to talk a little bit about your accolades. I mean, obviously, Queen's Award for innovation, Queen's Award for export as well. How does that come about in terms of, how do you get recognized for innovation, export?
Surprise! I didn't. I received the award for international trade.
Trade.
Yes, I have not invented anything. The wheel was already invented, but I perfected it. For example, I gave people the same product which they were used to or accustomed to enjoying for hundreds of years. So what I did, I built my own brands instead of saving the money which is associated with the branded product. There's so much cost, and I didn't want to incur the cost to become like them expensive. So what I did was build my brand. I knew the longest journey begins with the first single step. And I said, if I take my step now, in 4 or 5 years' time, people will know my brand. And I remember the story of Coca-Cola. The first day, the guy from Coca-Cola was able to sell just one bottle. And look at it today. Yes? Everybody's drinking Coke. So, you got to start. The best way to start business is to stop talking about it and start doing it.
Now start doing it. Okay, fantastic. Dr. Saab, what's the future for yourself in terms of your business and yourself? I mean, you've achieved a lot. You're at the top of the industry. You've been recognised. People approach you for different matters. I mean, where are you in your life at this moment in time? What's the future for you?
You see, life is a journey. You can end it anytime you want. Yes? As long as my body is functioning, I'm able to work, get up in the morning, do my work, and I can add some value, generate some employment, or it's useful. Otherwise, I'll sit home doing nothing. I'll catch a lot of diseases. Yes, sitting in the boredom, I'll eat more, I'll sleep more, all sorts of things. I'll fight with my wife every 5 minutes. So I think it's better that we continue to work as long as we can. People retire and then they find hobby, they play golf. But for my hobby is my work and my community work, my philanthropy work. It gives you a lot of satisfaction. Giving is good. If I benefited from people, this society, you see how many sports hall, how many recreation hall, people made this before us, and we are enjoying. And then we also have to plant some trees for the next generation. If I just say, look, let me take all the trees, so we have inherited this land in trust for interest of our next generation. We have to leave a society befitting, our children and grandchildren. So I think everybody contribute. There are people who have contributed a great deal. There are social issues which people tackle. And I'm very passionate about religious tolerance, because religious tolerance is very important. It's a requisite for a civil society, because if we don't tolerate each other's culture, religion, custom, we'll end up hating each other, and people who we are going nowhere. We'll destroy. We're in the same country. And the other one is the women empowerment is very important to me. That people don't understand that they cannot progress until the women progress, because you're judged by the company you keep. We are in a country, Britain, which is a two-income economy. If you have one income and more children, you doomed from the start. So the women have to go out, and when they go out to work, they become more tolerant, they become more enlightened. What they don't experience themselves, they cannot impart to their children. So it's very important. Women. My daughter, I have three daughters. They're all doing very well. One is a counselor, one is a doctor, one is work for a big company in London. So women are not equal to men, but they're better than men. Yeah, men can't bear children. Men can't look after house. So, but we should not underestimate them, and we should not turn assets into liability and score our own goal in the process. A lot of people do without realizing. Let's give you example. If I do not allow my wife education, and I have 4 children, and I die prematurely, I will leave mother unable to deal with the family, and a woman unable to deal with the world. So difficult word out there. So women empowerment is not a choice, it's a necessity if you are going to get more out of your life. And we are very fortunate in Great Britain. We have so much opportunities, and country is not great because of they eat fish and chips, or they have this rainy weather. They are great because of their values.
British values.
British values. Because if I come to Britain, I don't adopt British values. Whose loss is that? I will stay on the fringes of society. I will not take advantage of what Britain has to offer. In this country, you have rule of law. Everyone is equal. Everyone has a freedom. You can worship as you may. So many countries in the world.
She mentioned a lot of tolerance, a lot of freedom,
Every equality for women, tolerance for religion, and there are so many countries. They systematically discriminate against section of their own population on the basis of religion, and they score their own goal. They're infighting. They create infighting. They got constitution where they don't give equality to people. They don't even give equality to women. And how they're going to, this is common sense. If you follow philosophy of such countries where no equality for women, no equality for religion, no equality for races, how are you going to progress like Great Britain, America, Canada, where there are rule of law, there are equality? You are going to be what philosophy you copy. So very simple, but unfortunately people don't realize that if you want to change the result, you have to change the formula. And if you want to be like Great Britain, a tolerant country, you have to have similar values, similar constitution, similar laws. Otherwise, you will not share their values. Britain cannot share its value with a religious country. Full stop. Where there's too much emphasis on religion, not on science, technology, or anything like that. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're very lucky to be born or raised here. So definitely agree with you.
Very
Dr.
lucky
Sam.
people to be
very,
here.
very lucky to be there. I mean, we started our conversation talking about apprenticeships, and I'd like to finish on that note as well. Just to ask you in terms of your perspective, particularly with parents, because sometimes parents don't understand what an apprenticeship framework is. If a young child or teenager comes in and says, "I'm looking at maybe looking at following a vocational route," sometimes they cause negativity within the sort of community, within the family network as well, and sometimes individuals themselves are shy in terms of going into that apprenticeship framework. They see an element of inferior qualifications. They don't value it as well. Again, just share with parents, and also generally in terms of what your view is in terms.
See, Safaraz, you just imagine, we get two chances in life to make our life. Chance number one in the school, that you go like a normal child, you study, you go from school to college, college to university, and you end up with a very nice degree, and you get a proper job, and you're in the system. But there are some students, they are not very keen. I was a mediocre student myself. My mind was not in my studies.
Even though you trained as a lawyer.
But I passed with great deal of difficulty,
So it's difficult
because
for you, but
yeah, but I did. I wasn't a bright student. I was a mediocre student. I was always doing other things,
Yeah.
cinemas, playing with. There are students, there are children who are like that. Not everybody is academically, so they miss out in the classroom. Then they get dropout. You call them dropout. Now they get a second chance with apprenticeship. Yes, because some people want to work, they enjoy with jobs hands on deck. They rather than just keep reading, they want to see practical. They enjoy, they meet with people. And so apprenticeship provide that great opportunity the second time around, that if you miss the boat in your academic career, you cannot be really trained for a worthwhile job. Yes, and this is a job where you can study and you can also learn skill. And the skill you learn will be through professional people who are ahead of you, who can share your experience. We can't learn everything from our experience. We must always learn from others' experience as well. So apprenticeship is this. And the government has now put apprenticeship on the map, under focus. People are now beginning to understand what is apprenticeship. Apprenticeship was just a term which we use for engineering industry.
The blue trade collars.
Blue trade, yes. But now we know apprenticeship can be, we can train people from shop floor to the boardroom. There is apprenticeship for
Any sector
IT,
now, IT, legal,
business,
accountancy.
legal, even musician. You can have apprenticeship in any field, whether it's cinema, you name it. Anyway, so therefore, now the more we talk about apprenticeship, the more people become aware of apprenticeship scheme, how much courses are available, and they will know the benefit. So they say how you sell a product. You sell the product by selling the benefit of the product. So our job as an apprenticeship ambassador, my role is to give the benefit to employers. In my company, I have not employed any high flyers. I've trained my staff, and by training my staff, I got what I wanted. I got people, they sing from the same hymn sheet. Yes,
so you trained them up
in the same pattern. It's such a great harmony in my company, because they all know what we know, and we have broken all business record. We won 5 consecutive Queen's Award for enterprise in international trade. We connected Britain through trade to 130 countries. Our business is growing, all because of training my own people. They said if you cook food yourself, you will cook it the way you want to enjoy your taste bud. But if you go and take away, it's a hit and miss. But in my cases, I've trained my people. They understand. They've got loyalty. Like your family, they have loyalty with their home, and they are very grateful that somebody took trouble. So it's a win-win situation. Let's not go for shortcut now. Get a ready-made coat or suit. It's better you have a tailor-made suit. It will fit you.
Nurture your own staff, develop them,
exactly,
invest time with them,
and instill your ethos, your values in them. And I can't say enough of the apprenticeship. My proof is that a man which started a company with £2, and 20 years I've grown 200 million turnover with the apprenticeship. No high flyer. I couldn't afford a high flyer to start with. And because I didn't have high flyer, I could keep my product and services at a very competitive pricing.
Okay, fantastic. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate again your time, you sharing your views with us. Any last words of just thoughts for any young person potentially considering an apprenticeship, just to finish off?
Well, I will say to them that you get an opportunity. When you get an opportunity, it's up to you how you take advantage of that opportunity. For example, a parent can take a child to a very good school, give him nice dress, nice teacher, but instead of sitting in the classroom, child is playing in the field. The parents can't do it. So whenever you get an opportunity, look at the potential of that opportunity, and you make sure that you get the most out of the opportunity which you have got. And apprenticeship is not the end, it's the beginning of your career. This is the first ladder, and the training you receive is like building your foundation. The stronger the foundation you have, the higher the building can rest on your foundation. So therefore, all those people who are interested in apprenticeship, please go and make the most of this government scheme, which is for you to benefit and get the most out of your life.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much for your time. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.